Hey guys, Blessing here. And how are you all doing? Welcome to BNF. This is a brand new program, and I know that you guys are not accustomed to this setup with Frida and I, but I am really excited to launch a program with Blessing and Frida talk show. But our first guest today, guests, I should say, I'll just let them do the introduction for themselves. Go ahead, Saint Oshun.
Go ahead, Portia.
No, you go. I'm being shy.
Our artist name is Saint Oshun. My name is Charles.
And I'm Portia. Thank you so much for having us. Blessing. And is it Frida?
Yes,
Yes.
it is.
Yes.
Hi guys.
So good,
Okay.
guys.
Nice. It's so nice to have both of you here on the program. So, as you know, my name is Blessing Njo, and I'll let Frida go ahead introduce herself.
Oh, my name is Frida, and I'm also an artist from Nigeria, um, and I live in Minnesota.
Ah, I'm from Wisconsin.
Oh, you are. When they
Yes.
Yeah, we both met in Wisconsin. So
Yeah.
oh,
I lived there for
really?
years.
Oh, how sweet. How sweet. That's nice.
Nice. All right. So, before we start, how do you pronounce your name? Is it Saint Oshun or ST Oshun? Because I've been like struggling with that a bit.
Oh, it is Saint. So it's ST for the abbreviation of Saint.
Right. Now,
Yes.
tell us about your musical journey. I read a bit about you, and I see that you are a dynamic pop artist known as Saint Ocean, of course, and your genre is high frequency connective pop. I must say that that is new to me. So I'd like you to go ahead and explain what that entails. What does it mean?
You want to go ahead? All right. So obviously, pop kind of defines itself. We're in the back of our minds. We're always trying to get you to sing along, coming back to the hook over and over again. But high frequency, I think, as we've talked to people and as intentionally and unintentionally, as artists, we want to raise your frequency. We want you at the end of the song to feel better. We want we want you to be able to go out and do what you need to do in a better frequency. And so we do that in a very subtle way. We don't hit you over the head necessarily. But that's one of the things that, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
She said,
Yeah, but is
Oh.
it a new genre? Is it something
Oh.
you created?
Yes. So I feel like, and that didn't start out intentionally. I don't think that was necessarily what we set out to do, but kind of in our journey, we started to realize more and more that our music definitely did that for people, especially as people listened to it and commented on YouTube or came to our performances and commented. That was kind of the thing that they kept saying over and over again. And I can even remember one person saying, it's like we went to church at the end of your performance. We just feel a higher frequency. So that's kind of where we come from. And I feel like it's important because people now are still struggling. I feel like a lot of people coming out of COVID are still trying to navigate what it means to be social, what it means to go out. Obviously, the economy worldwide, people are struggling. And so people need that. They need some hope. They need to feel better. They need to believe that it's possible for them to do more, to be able to come out of whatever circumstances they're in and do whatever it is that they're dreaming to do.
Right. But what distinguishes this genre from the regular pop that we know?
Do you want to take that portion?
no, you go ahead. You're on a
Oh,
roll.
wow. You're letting him do all the talking today.
Right, I know. I keep trying to hand it over. So a lot of music today is hypersexualized. And I feel like it centers around are we G, PG, R? What is the rating on this show? So I know what I can and cannot say.
Oh, I don't think so. Do we have any like restrictions like PG-13 or all of that?
No.
I don't. Your channel is for adults, right? Because
Yeah, it is. It is.
Mhm.
Okay.
It just depends on like your brand. Like, is
No,
this
it's
more of an
okay.
adult channel?
No,
Okay.
It is.
Oh, okay. That's
Okay.
what you're asking.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was asking. I just wanted to make sure I didn't say something and your audience is going to be offended by it.
No.
A lot of pop music focuses on hypersexualization and basically just a moment fuck, for lack of a better term. Like right at this moment, we're going to hook up, we're going to fuck, and then it's going to be over. And that's an experience. It's absolutely an experience. But I think it glorifies it to the point of forgetting the fact that ultimately we're humans and we desire connection. And sex is a connection. It definitely is a connection, but it's, number one, not the only connection. And when you live that way, you're, in my opinion, you're going to end up feeling very hollow inside, because part of the meaning of sex is connection. And when you just focus on the sex and forget about the connection, you are missing out on a really beautiful experience of a relationship, whether it's a short-term or long-term relationship. And we're not prudes. Like, if you look at our music, if you look at our last music video, we are not at all prudes. Oshun, if you know who Oshun is not prudish. She is very sexual. She's very in the traditional where she comes from in Nigeria, very sexual. And so it's not that we're prudish in any way. It's definitely a part of every human experience. But when it's like saying money by itself will make you happy. Sex by itself will make you happy. Those things are good. There are beautiful things. But when you focus on them and don't see a bigger picture, you're missing out on a bigger and better experience. And so I feel like that's what we do in our lyrical content, but it's still very appealing because we're not trying to cut it off and say we're G and we don't talk about any of these things, because we do talk about heartbreak, we do talk about sex, but we do it in a much more rounded and balanced way, in which when somebody leaves, they feel like they better and hopefully understand the wider experience. Yes.
Because it's not just on sex.
Yes.
But how did you come about your name, and why did you choose that name for your group, mini group?
Please, it's
I
your
mean,
time.
it really, if I want to be honest, because you usually skipped the parts.
Is any of you who's from Ocean State?
What'd you say?
Who is from the
I
ocean?
said, who is from Ocean State?
State? What do you mean?
There's an ocean.
No,
I think-
Ocean State. It's a state
state
in
in
Nigeria.
Oh, the state of, like, as in a place.
Right. Are you Nigerian?
Right. To be honest, when we first were trying to come up with our, because we just quickly, to preface, we were initially a part of a live show act, and he was the band leader, and we were doing a lot of touring. It was a completely different sound. We were not called ST OSHUN, we were called the Charles Walker Band. And that's how we met. And there was a point where we wanted to, I don't know what
Hear that noise? It's outside.
Oh, why does it sound like it's over there?
I hear it.
Okay, I thought there was a ghost in here.
Oh, you
Anyway, sorry. There was a point where we wanted to rebrand, and he decided to dissolve the band, and we rebranded as really an artist duo, with just the two of us, where I had began to have a little bit more hand in the writing and the style of music that we were doing. And we were like, okay, so what should we, the next question usually is, well, what are we calling ourselves? And we went through so many different names. And to be honest with you, I can't even remember why when we stopped at Oshun. I was just like, oh, it just sounds nice.
I remember.
And then,
I
okay, you go
remember.
ahead.
So we initially were going to call ourselves St. OSHUN. And then you were like, well, what about, because you ran across Oshun, and you said, well, what about Oshun instead? And that we were initially going to be Oshun, but as you guys probably know, there is an artist duo already named Oshun from New York, I think, right?
Yeah, they're like a hip hop duo.
They're hip hop female.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I know that.
Oh,
Yeah.
you know them? Yep.
Yeah.
So finish
Okay,
the story.
but what was the reason you decided to dissolve the initial group that you had?
Oh, why don't you tell that part of the story? It was
We were approached by a record label while we were still the Charles Walker Band. And they had seen a few of our shows, and they said, you guys aren't really a band anymore. A band is, whenever you see a band, it's the same people over and over and over again. Like if you go and see Maroon 6, Maroon 6?
Fine.
Maroon 5. Maroon 5, it's the same people, right? Every time you go and see Maroon 5, it's the same people. It's not going to be somebody other than Adam Levine singing. It's going to be the same keyboard player. You know,
Or
that's
like, Nirvana is the same
Nirvana.
way.
Mhm, mhm.
Earth, Wind, and Fire was the same way.
Mhm, mhm.
Mhm.
You always saw the same characters.
Yes.
Because they were all members of the group.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes. But they said every time we see you, it's you and Portia and some random dudes playing instruments. That's not a band. Those are artists who hire bands to go on the road.
Right.
So you guys are really an artist duo. We think you guys should rebrand to become an artist duo, and so we decided that would be a great move for a lot of reasons. Number one, we had started to evolve, or we hadn't started. We had been evolving over time, and the first really big shift that we had made, we lost a lot of fans in the process because people really expected us to do one very specific thing, and when we stopped doing that one very specific thing, they no longer became interested, which is fair. I mean, if you love Big Macs and McDonald's stops selling Big Macs, you're going to say, well, I'm not going to McDonald's anymore. That's what I came for. Same thing with music. Beyonce is a crazy example of somebody who can pivot and pivot and pivot and still make it work. But for us, at the level that we were at, we were not able to pivot and make it work.
Right.
So we saw this as an opportunity to rebrand and say, you know what, we're going to leave what we used to do in the past. This is an opportunity to do what it is that we want to do. So we took that idea. We didn't end up signing with the label, but we did take that idea and kind of run with it. And that was 3.5 years ago, right?
It was like 2019.
Oh, 4.5 years ago.
2019.
It was like in the summer of 2019.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a question for you. Portia, is Portia your real legal name, or did you come up with that name as the I mean, you don't have to answer. You can literally just say, I'll pass or no comment or something. But is that your legal name, or is that like a stage for your
No, you could ask me anything. No, that is my government name. My daddy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I have a dad that loved cars, and
oh, really? He loves Porsche. See, I have the reason why I was asking is because I know Portia Williams from
Yes.
the reality TV series,
Yes.
and so when your name being Portia, I'm just like wondering, is it real name or
Yes.
a stage
And
name?
honestly,
It's a beautiful name.
she is the first person that I knew that has my name spelled exactly like mine.
The same. Wow, that's nice.
I grew up only knowing one other Portia, but it was spelled Portia, like the Shakespearean character,
Okay.
like the Latin spelling.
Okay.
So yeah, I was probably just like her, was named after a German
car.
car.
Which is amazing. It's beautiful. That's
And I have a twin, and the joke is always like, oh, what is her name? Is it Mercedes?
oh my god.
She didn't get one of those names.
Well, that's
Oh, I guess
Her
she's
name
not
is
into music, is she?
Huh?
Your twin. I guess she's not into music.
Oh, she loves music. She's one of the biggest music fans I know. I wish she was here. She lives here with us.
Okay.
cool.
But this is a girl that went to go see. Do you guys know who Guns N' Roses is?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Guns N' Roses is a group from like the 90s, I believe. And I mean rock. Straight rock. When you go to their concerts, you're probably not going to see White America.
Mhm.
This is a girl that went to a Guns N' Roses concert on a Friday night. And this is in the same 2-day span. And then the next day went to see Doja Cat. This was here in Los Angeles.
Totally
This girl
opposite.
loves
Totally different style of music too.
who else at either of those concerts shared the same interest in artists?
Probably.
Nobody.
Yeah, probably nobody.
Interesting.
But yeah. So
I
that's a government name.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm quite interested in the transition from being a band to being a duo. But before we go there, I want to go back to how you both started. How did you both get into music before your paths crossed?
Mine started when I was really, really young. I was a musician at a very young age. I started, to be honest, I did start piano really young, and I wasn't interested, believe it or not,
Mhm.
which was bizarre of me looking back. I think it's one of those situations where you're feeling forced to do something.
Mhm.
At about, I want to say fourth grade, I started playing flute,
Oh
and
wow.
that's when my soul lit up. I was like, "Oh, wait a minute! Like
This
I
sounds
could play
good.
Mary Had a Little Lamb." Do, do,
I
do,
know.
do, do.
I know.
Like I was obsessed, and and then I was from there. I started playing other woodwinds,
Mhm.
some stringed instruments. I even tried to play the tuba. Like I was like trying to just do everything.
Instruments.
So and then
Were
I
you
just
vocal? Were you vocal or just instrumental?
I was vocal too. Now
Okay.
vocally, I was a little bit more shy. So
Yeah.
because I was a shy little girl, and
I'm still shy now.
you still are.
I'm still shy now,
I
yeah.
mean, I got
I
to
have a
show a little
different
bit.
personality when I am listening
Around
to
the
music than
Mhm.
when I'm on stage. When I'm on stage, something else happens. Miracles.
Yeah. Yes. Me too. Yes. And it took me a long time to like find that on stage because
Mhm.
that shyness was so dominant. But I was a shy girl and I loved to sing, but I would only sing to myself because I either felt like I was going to be judged or I was like, well, maybe it doesn't really sound good, but I like it. You
Mhm.
know,
Yeah.
it made me feel good.
Mm.
So I also did sing. The only thing I would do performance wise though was play the instruments because I was a little bit more confident with that. Um, but the singing I loved. So yeah, I was singing when I was a little girl. I sang a little bit in church, but we went to like a smaller church. I
Ah.
mean, we didn't go to one of those big, like, where a lot of African Americans go to these
Mhm.
big Baptist churches and there's like this big choir. Like it wasn't anything like that. But I did do a little bit of that kind of singing. But I didn't really grow into myself as a vocalist until college.
Oh,
But yeah, I've been I've been a singer and a musician since I was little, you
Mhm.
know, that I can remember.
good for you.
Yeah.
And then
Is it what?
I didn't
Mhm.
start performing till like actually performing on a stage like regularly until my college years. That's when
Okay.
in fact, I had a moment. I went to a festival in college. It was a summer. It was my first summer in Milwaukee. I went to college in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and I'm originally from Columbus, Ohio. So I went to college in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and I hadn't really been singing that much. I was playing the guitar and leading praise and worship for this small little chapter, like Christian chapter on campus. You know, those student, like, I don't even remember the name of the organization, but
We had one too.
yeah, like I was doing that thing. But I remember the first summer I stayed in Milwaukee and didn't go home during college. I went to this jazz festival that was near my college. I could just walk to, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is dope!" I haven't really been looking at live music in a long time.
Yeah.
I was going to this engineering school, and there was like very little like performing art, anything. And I sat next to this guy who later on became a good friend. But I
Mhm.
looked at him and I said, "Man, I should be doing that." Like I saw them performing and I saw myself up there. I was
Oh
being
wow.
impatient, but at the same time, I'm like, that's where I'm supposed to be.
Well, that's the inner, I would say, like your inner power, inner love for it, and how
Yeah,
you felt when you saw all of that thing, happen. So
yeah.
that's
And then
good.
the guy, he said, "Oh yeah, are
You
you
should.
a singer or a vocalist?"
Why
I
not?
said, I do both." And he's like, "Oh, I'm a trumpet player. I actually know those guys." And
Oh,
he said, I can introduce you, maybe get you an audition." And that's where it started. Then I didn't look back.
oh, that's
Wow.
nice.
Yeah, I started performing quite a bit after that.
That's nice.
What's your story?
You
I didn't want to skip him.
musical journey.
Uh, I started in fifth grade. I can remember in the end of fourth grade, general music. They all of the older kids came in with instruments. So I saw flute, I saw clarinet, I saw saxophone, I saw trombone. And I'm like, I want to play trombone. That's what I want. That's what I want to do. So my band director, she brought me in the following year, sat me down. She said, okay, we're going to try some different mouthpieces to see, what's going to be good for you. I said, I don't need to try mouthpieces. I want to play trombone. That's what I'm doing. She
Wait,
said, I
did you get
understand
someone
that.
to play it or what? Or you just like love the sound, or you just know about the equipment?
Or did you like the way it just went like this?
I
I know,
remember the
right?
guy going,
Wait,
and I was like, oh,
It sounded
yeah,
good, right?
yeah.
Well, good for you because I love the violin and I tried it for a week and my neck couldn't move. I was like, I'm done.
Oh,
Oh,
I
no.
still love it, but I'm not doing it.
But you're not.
So go ahead. Sorry to cut you off.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good. So sat down with her. So she started me out on the trombone mouthpiece. She said, okay, that's cool. Now let's do trumpet. Did trumpet. Okay, that's cool. Then she handed me a saxophone mouthpiece. So I did the saxophone thing and put it down. She said, pick that back up and do that again. So I picked it back up and I did it again. She said, you need to be a saxophone player. I said, I don't want to play stupid saxophone. I want to play trombone. She said, no, seriously. You already have a perfect embouchure, which is the form in your mouth, to play saxophone. I don't actually have to teach you that part. You'll already be a step ahead of everybody who has to learn how to have proper embouchure for the saxophone. You need to be a saxophone player. So 5th grade was when I started playing saxophone. Went through high school. Ended up playing trumpet as well in high school. Went to college. Studied in the jazz program there. And then I started my first band out of college. So that's kind of where I got my start, 5th grade.
wow. So both of you started at quite a very young age. And is music the only thing you do at the moment, or do you still maybe work?
oh yeah, we still.
You still work.
Oh yes, like it's. I mean, we're always hustling. Like, I mean, at one point, Charles was doing graphic design. I mean, when we first met, I was a professional, a professional fitness
Coach, instructor.
coach, yoga instructor. I had a small studio. I ran boot camp. So we've done a lot of things. We've Ubered, like the gig work. Currently, we are doing some about to do some sales for like home improvement. Because do you guys live in LA? I don't even know.
No, I don't. I live in
Los Angeles. Listen, like it's very inflated. So there's it will make you work. How about that? Like there's always
that's good. That's good. Working any kind of job. As long as you're doing something to earn an income.
Yes. Yes, until our art earns us what it's supposed to be earning us, because it's
right.
Because we do believe it.
That's true. And another thing that got me really interested in both of you in your story was reading that you both sold your home during COVID and you moved to Hollywood.
Yeah. So we're for people that don't know, while we are an artist duo, we're actually a couple as well. And we did have a home in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And I'm gonna let you tell that story.
Oh.
You caught me off guard. So we decided. Let me see if I can do this really quickly. It was really a 2-year story that brought us to this, but we ended up hiring a music business coach, not a manager, a music business coach. Okay. And one of his assignments, in fact, it was his first assignment, was to have us write 10 handwritten letters to an artist that we admired and find 10 ways to get that letter to them. So in that process, I met a lot of people. I chose Stevie Wonder. And I've met a lot of people in the industry.
And I chose Beyonce.
And you chose Beyonce.
But his story is way better than mine, so you go ahead.
I wasn't going to I don't want to take up too much time.
You should tell that story.
I am interested.
Or at least in as small of a nutshell as you can. Okay. I don't know.
Okay. So chose Stevie Wonder. I wrote the 10 handwritten letters, and in the letter, it was just thanking him. It wasn't asking him to do anything. It was just
I
really
love Stevie.
I don't know anybody that says they don't like Stevie Wonder.
I love
If you have
Stevie.
ears, you like Stevie Wonder. It's just
Yeah. Yeah. Stevie,
Stevie. So
one of the absolute greatest.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
And like personally, he's such an amazing dude too. Like that's
Yeah.
not, he takes his craft very serious. He's very amazing.
Yeah.
When it comes to work, he wants to just get it done. But go ahead, go ahead. Oh, sorry, I just love Stevie so
you're
much.
good. No, I agree. Oh, what happened? Oh, of course, you might have to turn that. Can you turn that camera back on? That one, because my phone just rang.
Oh no.
That's why the screen went up. Okay. So wrote 10 handwritten letters. The letters were just thanking. Okay, cool. We're just thanking him.
Okay. Okay.
The 10 handwritten letters were basically just saying thank you and how much he had inspired me to be a musician myself, and how his music had helped me through a lot of difficult times. And I mean, when we were on tour, I was playing him all the time, Stevie Wonder.
Aw.
You were. How many times did we listen to the song?
Songs in the Key of Life.
Key of Life, that whole album.
Man, if it would have been a record, it would have been worn out like 5 times, like like an actual physical record. Uh-oh, what happened?
Scoot over.
I
Get over.
switched it up a bit.
Oh, you're good. Let me slide over so I'm in the frame too.
There.
So wrote the letters. So the first few letters were pretty easy. You know, you just Google Stevie Wonder's manager sent him one. Stevie Wonder owns a record station out here.
Since you're talking.
This is better.
I mean, I liked it. I was gonna have him move over, but go ahead.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I moved over.
Let me see.
Well, yeah, make them get closer. We want to see.
there
We
we
enjoy
go.
the connections. Oh,
Like
that's cute. That is beautiful. Yes.
Okay, good.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. So yeah, one to his manager, a letter to his manager, a letter to, he owns a radio station out here, sent one to the radio station. And then that's where it got hard. After the first 2, I'm like, how? I got 8 more to go. What do I do? So I remember we played a big festival. I dropped one in the middle of the audience. I was like, I'm just putting this out there. Who knows if it comes back? And then I literally started DMing everyone on Facebook. Hey, do you know anyone who might have a way to get a letter to Stevie Wonder? Over and over and over again until I had sent it out 5,000 times. All 5,000, I maxed out all of the people I knew on Facebook. I also texted people too. Ended up meeting his.
This was back in 2018. Maybe?
Yeah, that sounds about right. About
I'm trying to
2018.
remember.
Mhm. So Facebook was still a little bit more relevant than it is today. People respond. So met someone who knew his trombone player, got a letter through his trombone player. Met another guy who knows Nate Weiss, who has been his bass player forever. Sent a letter to Nate. In the process, I got all the letters down to 1. Last letter. I had sent out, I literally didn't know who else to ask. So I was going back through my DMs and I'm like, I met this guy named Rockwell Sheridan. And I met him through a promoter that somehow I had become friends with. I don't know how, but she recommended him. And so he had never replied, nor had he even seen the message. So I'm like, well, let me just hit him up one more time. He didn't even see the message. I'll do the long shot. So I said, hey, I don't know if you saw my first message. I'm just trying to contact Stevie Wonder. Do you have any means of getting a letter to him? The 3 dots come up. Yes. And this is a quote, so Stevie doesn't get mad at me. Yes, I know his fat ass.
Right? Like, wait, who are we talking about? Who are we talking about?
I said, who are we talking about? ? And he said, Steve, period. He got fat, period.
Oh, really?
Right, you know, like,
how do you know him? And so it turns out that Rockwell went to school with him in Saginaw, Michigan. So they grew up together. They both were in the industry. And then they ended up going separate ways. Rockwell had a very short career as an individual artist and then decided he would much rather be a musical director rather than being his own artist. So he ended up MDing for a bunch of major artists. And we all know where Stevie went. But I ended up getting the letter to Rockwell, and Rockwell ended up hand delivering the letter to Stevie. And
Oh, that's you are lucky. You are so lucky. Another way to make it easier for you, IMDb. You can contact like celebs.
Mhm.
Not the actual celeb, but you can get their information from IMDb of who to contact, the direct link. Because apart from like you guys getting interviewed, I have done a film where I had to contact celebrities, and
Mhm.
that's the best way to get a hold of them. If you want to go next time, just go to IMDb.
IMDb. That's good.
IMDb, right? And
Right.
you can get like if they signed,
I don't
you
know.
know, whoever they signed to the company,
Agency manager.
all of that. Yeah, their manager, you can get all of that. So
I
yeah,
didn't.
that's it. Very easy.
That's good to know.
Yeah, I actually went on there. That's how I got as manager. This is one of the first moves. The difficulty is getting a handwritten letter to the artist is a
Ah,
little bit different than getting them on a show. Like, because
Mhm.
I actually met another one of his close friends in the process, and he actually told me that he wouldn't do it. He just wouldn't bring the
right.
letter to Stevie. So, but I appreciate the information. It's
Yeah,
always good.
Stevie is very fun. So even with the friend saying, like, yeah, I know he's F ass, that he's fun. He doesn't care about those kind of things. He's
Yeah.
actually jovial when you meet him in real life. So he's good.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
Now
Yes.
let's shift a bit back to the story of how you sold. I'm so interested to hear that.
So you were getting
That
up to
yeah, that there was a point to that random story. I was going to skip over it because I was trying to answer your question, but yes, that was the beginning of me being able to realize that we could do whatever we wanted to do, and that was the point. That there was nothing holding us back except our own beliefs. Because if I can get a letter to Stevie Wonder, I can pretty much do anything else that I want to do.
Hmm.
So Portia and I started talking about
well, we were already even before. I can't remember during that coach that we had. He was giving us like the most wild exercises to do, similar to that. But they were opening up our mind. But
Hmm.
we had already wanted to uh, move to either New York or Los Angeles
Mhm.
at some point to grow our career. And we didn't know what that looked like, but we chose Los Angeles, and it seemed scary because we knew Los Angeles is a tough city. I mean, either of those cities are tough cities. And
Mhm.
it's not like the Midwest. I mean, it's expensive. It's just really hard to live, and there's a lot of competition.
You chose the right one though when it comes to
Oh
New
yeah, we did.
Angeles.
We know. Yes, yes. Thanks for the validation.
Yeah.
But let's see. Where are we in the story?
so
Why you sold
we
your
had
car.
decided on Los Angeles probably because as you were saying, Frida, for pop music, it's still the number one place when it comes to the production of pop music. Not necessarily the songwriting. There are other places that have great pop writers, but here is kind of pop artist central. So we decided on Los Angeles, and then I can remember the year that we sold our house. Portia was saying, Charles, if we're gonna do something, we need to do it now. Like we need to make a move. It's time. It's time.
Wow.
And so I said, you're right. You're right. So at that point, we had no idea how we were going to get here because
Well, it was really all around Alona. We wanted to. You wanted to. Charles has a daughter, and he didn't want to leave until she was
Old enough, at least.
old enough. Yes, and it was her last year in high school, and I was like, if we gonna do this, like I remember when I realized, like, oh my god, Alona is a freaking senior. Like, are we doing this or not? And it was. I remember when I said it was the beginning of 2020. I think, right? It was either winter of 2019, like maybe December. But I was like, what are we doing? And so we were sort of dragging our feet
Mhm.
because we were trying to figure out how are we going to do this because we really didn't. We needed to like fix the house because, listen, we were on the road for some years. And when I say on the road, we were pounding the pavement, right? Like, so the reason why I'm bringing that up is if you have a house, like if you own a home, you got to be on it. Like, ain't nobody going to fix stuff when it break
Oh.
except for the homeowner, right? The homeowner got to take care of it. But we
Right.
were not good stewards of that home because we were on the road so much. So then when it was time to sell, it was like, holy crap. Look how many projects need to get done. Plus,
Yeah.
we wanted to redo the kitchen,
Oh,
redo
wow.
the bath. Oh my goodness. I was just like, how are we going to get this done? It was just like, how is this going to happen? And then COVID hit.
Oh,
COVID hit March 2020. And we were just trying to figure out how we're going to get done. And then you ended up meeting a guy not meeting a guy, we already knew him. What was his name? Doesn't matter. Matt. But what did he do to get us started? Like he just knew about home improvement. So
well, that's nice.
I'm trying to remember, but he was integral in helping us get everything done and not at like a huge cost. Because it was really a time and a money resource thing where we were really trying to figure it out. Like, how do we make this work? And we eventually, I mean, with a lot of elbow grease, a lot of hard work, and just being creative, we got the house ready to sell during COVID. And we did it in like about 3 months, maybe.
Mhm.
It was, and we put it on the market in September, I want to say, or was it more like August or something like that? I remember it was right at the end of the summer. And we ended up selling it almost immediately.
Okay.
It was a seller's market. I mean, as soon as we put it up, and I remember our real estate agent was like, no, let's do this price. And I looked around and I was like, I did a little bit more research and I was like, I feel like these houses, the value of this neighborhood has gone up because there was a lot of really nice homes in that neighborhood. And so I added on, like, I don't know, remember what it was, another 20 grand or something. And glad it did because the house almost got a buyer immediately, but then that fell through and then we had to kind of do it all over again. So, but we still ended up selling it within a few months because it was a seller's market. And we pretty much got rid of most of our things. We packed up a U-Haul, put our car on the back of it, put the cat inside of the truck. A cat we just met, like, I want to say we met that cat like in September. That was a crazy story. And we drove to Los Angeles and never looked back.
Wow.
December 2020.
Did you purchase another home in LA or?
Yeah. While we were trying to get the house ready, we had already, okay, so just to put it all in perspective, the year of 2020 is when we started coming to Los Angeles just for business. Like, one, we wanted to meet Rockwell, the guy in the story, and a few other people. I think we were supposed to meet Stevie Wonder at some point in those business meetings we were having when we were coming back and forth from Wisconsin to LA. And then we were doing writing sessions. So we had time to like, I want to say, let's see, COVID hit. So before COVID, we were coming back and forth to Los Angeles. And then it was after COVID hit. I want to say that summer, we were like, okay, if this is really happening, let's just double down. If we got to go to LA for a business trip, let's also look for a place to stay or at least feel out neighborhoods to see where we wanted to stay. So we had been doing that as well. So we didn't just drive here not knowing where we were going to live. Like, we actually had a lease in place, unfortunately, when the first sale of the house went through. Like, I was like, no. So it was a terrible situation. Like, we were literally paying for
two places.
yeah, because the sale fell through and the lease was getting started on the time that we knew that the sale was going to go through. So we were like, oh, we were trying to plan it out just perfectly. And it never, when does anything ever happen perfectly? It just never, it didn't. So, but no, we did, to answer your question, we had a place here already set up.
I mean, you've lived now in LA for approximately 4 years. If you had to
Three, it's really 3.
3 years now?
3
After
and
COVID?
change. Okay, so what are we? Is it 3.5? No, we're not at the half mark yet.
Not quite. We're close.
Maybe they're like, what? January, February, March. So no, we are almost 3.5. So it's about 3 years and 5 months.
But if you look back in retrospect, would you do it over again if you had to, or if you had?
It's been tough. I'm gonna tell you, like we've had like highs and we've had lows, and I mean, it has really built us from a character standpoint, personally and personal developmentally. Is that a word? But even with all of the headaches and with the hustle, I would do it again. There, no question. I can't answer that for Charles though. Like,
Charles, would you?
Yeah, and I
think
wish
you're
I
a bit
could.
skeptical. I can hear some skepticism there.
I wish I could say no because it's been so hard.
You gotta remember, nothing good comes easy.
Nothing worth attaining is ever going to be a cakewalk, ever. I mean, if it was, everyone would
have it.
Be successful, rich, beautiful,
right?
All the things that it takes to have focus and discipline to do something and to have a big dream. Right. You know, it's never easy. Like we see people's highlights all the time and we think, oh, they got lucky. Oh, and it's like, you know what? No, they didn't. If you dig into their past, you would see they were like a tree and they were growing these roots for a long time that you didn't even see. Them roots is long. Right. They were doing all the unsexy things, waking up at 5 a.m., grinding until they couldn't see straight, you know, losing a lot of money, gaining a lot, you know, it's like all these lows and then these highs and then a low again, and then just really keeping your dream and your focus in the forefront of your mind and continually asking you, is it worth it? You know?
Yeah. Well, you know, losing money, I believe, is part of the process to success.
It is.
Right. And I think both of you are you're quite fortunate actually that you both share the same dream, the same passion for music, and you're both putting in getting from what you're telling me now. So I think it's a win-win, whichever way, you know, things turn out for you too. I don't know if you feel the same way.
I mean, I do. I feel blessed that I have a partner to do this with, and to someone that is extremely focused and, you know, hasn't given up. You know, nice. I can't say that you ever will give up, just like you can't say that about me, because I'm an individual and you're an individual, but you haven't given up. And I know you see me the same way. Like, I have not given up. Like, thank you for not giving up, because it's much better when you have a team than when you feel like you're doing it all alone, you know?
Right.
So I feel fortunate in that way. But yeah, for people that think that this is easy, it is not. I mean, LA has a lot of new residents every year, like hundreds of thousands. Wow. And probably only, I don't know what the statistic is, but a lot of them don't stay. You know, after a couple of years,
they leave.
It can be, I mean, I have 2 friends that I can say were actually homeless here that are doing well now. Homeless.
Right.
Oh, like living on a beach. One of my friends was living on the beach. Another one was living in their car until they took his car.
Oh my.
And then he was on the street.
At least a week.
And now there's a film that is getting awards. So, you know, and was in, you know, he's been in some TV shows like Insecure. But
that kind of reminds me of Taraji P. Henson and what's her name? Tiffany Haddish.
Yes.
It's
funny because he's a comedian too. But yes, this is not, you know, people think what they want to think, but when you're going after something big, you're gonna have to pay for that.
Right.
You're gonna have to pay. There's gonna be some sacrifices. So it really depends on what you want in your life. But if it's really big, it's equally sacrificed. The sacrifice is just as big as the dream.
Oh yeah.
Right. So it's the money, it's the time, but as
It's
long
the
as the
time,
time is there,
it's the energy. You know, I mean, even you can attest to that. Like how much it just drains you. Because you're, you know, when you're independent artist and you're trying to grow. I mean, it's just like any business. You're looking for capital. You're looking, you know, because this is a very, very expensive career.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, now you're trying to wear a lot of hats. You're trying to build a team, but in the meantime, before you build out this team in this organization, whether you get assigned by a label or not, you are, even if you are assigned by a label, you are working around the clock still. I'm recalling I saw Beyonce's or her Renaissance film,
Mm-hmm.
and to quote her, she's like, I'm working all day, every day. Like I take my kids to school still. I am working around the clock. It's just, it
you
just
would
kind of is an innate part of what you chose to do.
have.
Yeah.
My friends are
But
like, why do you
yeah,
still want to do this?
you both are doing quite well. I mean, looked at some of your videos. I think they're really beautiful, really exceptional.
Thank you.
It really takes a
And
lot
it
to.
took us a minute to figure out, how do you do this
Mm-hmm.
on a small budget? How do you make something amazing, you know, on a shoestring budget? So, but
Right.
thank you
And
for
did you?
noticing.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Oh no, I just said thank you for noticing and for
Sure.
the accolades. Yes.
I mean, it's difficult not to notice, but another thing is talking about where you're coming from and moving to somewhere you probably didn't even know so many people, and you've worked so hard. How would you rate where you are now in your career, your musical career?
How would I
Mm-hmm.
rate it, like from us on a scale?
On a scale
Like
of 10.
like is 10, I guess I want you to define it a little bit better. Like is 10 like the peak of the career
Yes.
versus, oh, that's a good question. Ooh, what do you want to say? Hmm.
How satisfied are you with
Let's
where?
get
You
Charles
know,
to answer
this is
that.
a good question because I feel like these kinds of journeys, when you have like a really, really big goal, you're closer than you think. It just feels like you're not. You look around and you're like, I've been working hard for 10 years. I
Hmm.
mean, I'm thinking of Victoria Monet, for instance. She's like, I saw her speech at the Grammys, and she said, I went unnoticed for 15 years.
Wow.
So she was on the same grind. I believe she said 15. Did she say 15? It was something like that. I think it was 15. And you feel like you're so far away, but you're
Mm-hmm.
really close. It reminds me of the growth of a bamboo tree. How does bamboo tree grow? What is
The bamboo tree has a lot of.
The well, it's a particular type of bamboo tree,
Mm-hmm.
but basically for the first 5 years,
You
you
don't see
don't see anything. You don't see anything. It's just growing roots, growing roots, growing roots, and then in something like 3 months, it shoots up. I don't know, 10 feet or something.
Wow.
And for most people, they don't realize that it took the 5 years before it could achieve
it's
what
like
it does in 3
it's
months.
like that exponential curve.
Right.
You know,
And you also mentioned that you're independent artists. You're not signed. Is it a choice?
right now, and that is a really good question. Right now, I I want to say it's not really a choice. I think it really truly becomes a choice when you're approached by a record label with
And
an
you,
actual contract, and you can make that choice. But at this point, we haven't been approached. with the contract. We have been approached by a record label with some marching orders, which is a completely different story. But the paperwork hasn't been presented yet. So that is a fine question. I mean, we've gone back and forth on if a record label contract is for us or if it isn't for us. And I guess we would know that when we see the contract.
Right.
We'll know. We'll be like, or we're like, you know what? We could win in this situation.
Right.
Because a lot of the times when you don't have a lot of leverage as an artist, it can become a huge loss for you as an artist. You may have some notoriety, but that's all you taking home. You could be like TLC in the end, you know. You got a lot of notoriety, but you don't own anything. In fact, now you're broke, you know. So, you know, they went bankrupt because they really weren't. They really weren't getting paid.
Yeah.
They signed a terrible contract. So yeah, I think we'll know. It'll be a choice when the papers are presented, and we'll know at that moment.
But I really don't know how it works in the music industry. Maybe Frida knows better than I do. But how do you wait for a record label to approach you? Don't you or can't you approach them and present yourself?
Well, oops, wrong way.
Especially when you know what you've got. You know you've got the talent, you know you have everything it takes to really get to that level. How about going to them to tell them or to
You can try that approach. What Portia alluded to before is a record deal is basically a loan. Okay. The record label's giving you a loan. They're giving you an advance. And that advance goes to being able to pay for recording, to be able to pay for marketing, to be able to pay for tour,
music videos,
and then just living while you're trying to do all of this, right?
Okay.
Or trying to flex a little bit because you're going to a big party and you can show up in your Toyota.
So the advance differs greatly. You know, if Frida were to get an advance, I don't know about your music, Frida, but I'm going to guess that you have 100 million listeners every month, and you have 2 billion followers on Instagram. So the record label is probably going to give you $2 to $3 million for an advance because you already are bringing a fan base, right? That's a pretty safe bet that if they invest in you, you're going to make them more money. And the deal might be slightly fair. They might not give you a 360 deal, which means that they don't take everything from you as an artist. So like when you go on tour, a 360 deal, you pay they get some of that ticket money. They get some of your merchandise money. If you appear in a movie, they get some of that if it's negotiated that way. If you get a brand deal with Nike, they get a piece of that. Literally anything that involves, if your name is Frida as an artist, I'm not sure if it is, but anything with that, it is? Okay. Anything in a 360 deal that involves your name, they will get a piece of. Okay.
Most of the time, that's what they offer to most artists.
Yeah.
Is a 360 deal.
So.
Okay, so I have been approached by a record label that literally said all my music that I have done so far, which is 16 songs and a couple of music videos, they want 100% of those rights. And I refused because I wanted us to move from when we started a contract together. So leave my other songs. But here's the deal. If you blow up as an artist when they sign you, which they have the power to blow you up. But if I blow up and they have the rights to all my other songs, I will literally be earning like zero. You know what I mean? So they get all that revenue. I wanted those revenue to just go to me because when you blow up all your old songs and old work, that goes viral as well.
That's correct.
In that case,
that is all was funded by you and is all your work. Good for you. Because I feel like a lot of artists will be so green that they don't really understand their own value, you know, and you understanding your value, you can say no until it's right. Like, no, absolutely not. Because guess what? All those no's, the yeses, the right thing's gonna come sooner,
Right,
sooner
right.
or later. Sooner or later.
But I'm
There
not.
are pros and cons. Blessing. That's what I'm trying to
Mhm,
explain. There are pros and
mhm.
cons. You just have to read it, see, and know like what's best for you and your family. You know, so and then you decide
I think, yeah, what's best for you and really
your future.
your
Your future.
future.
I
Yes,
have 3 kids, so I'm thinking about my children.
exactly.
But are those deals? I'm a novice here. Are those deals for a lifetime?
No, they
No,
usually
no,
sign you
couple
for a
years.
couple years to 10 years, like the contract
Mhm.
might be like, oh, we'll give you 3 million for 2 records. So not records. We want you to do 2 albums in 5 years.
So
Yeah.
And
why
here's
wouldn't you? Why
But
wouldn't that period of time maybe give up what you own at the moment just to get what you want to achieve?
Right.
well,
So here's the thing. When you make music, right? You put in all your money, all your hard-earned money for like
Hmm.
the music videos, music production, all of that, paying people out of pocket, nobody pay for it. Now the
Hmm.
record label can make you very famous overnight. But let me tell you, every artist that becomes famous within the first 1 year, 2 years, that's your top-notch market. That's when you make all the money. After that, you need to have like literally the mojo to continue to attract that whole thing in to get as much money as you got the first few years that you were viral. Now, the record label, when they tell you we want to own you for 5 years, 6 years, they have seen the potential of like, okay, this person will feel like they have like a lot in them and they can go viral and go a long stretch for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. We want to own you those years. And after that, they drop you. Those other like like other years that you don't go viral, those music don't make you money anymore. So they already took all the money and just left. So it takes the grace of God and some others, mother nature, whatever, that's going to make you blow up every year, which is almost impossible. There's no artist that's bopping every year. No artist.
Beyonce.
Did you know that allegedly uh, they spent 20 million for her music to bop this year? I never heard that song, but this point they spent 20 million allegedly.
you
So
mean in
you
marketing.
gotta put in marketing, yes, paying radio stations. I heard there was a Rolex involved.
Hmm.
There's a lot of things you got to put in. So that's because if you really want to stay relevant and bop all the time, you got to put in money. Now, if imagine if your first year, if I like, sorry, my first 5 years that I'm signed to a record label, if I made $40 million and the record label takes um $39 million and I get $1 million, right? Now, when the record label leaves and I'm not able to put, stay in that
Hmm.
bopping stage, they already left with all the money I got, few hundreds of thousands left.
Yeah.
So now I'm screwed.
No, I do not want to agree with you because then you'd have to, like I said earlier on, you'd have to compromise sometimes because you know what you want to achieve. You want to
You'll be
achieve
famous with no money.
yes, but then when you have trust in your talent, for example, for
Mm-hmm.
that period of time, they will give you that foundation. You'd have your
Right,
leverage. You're going to earn. You're going to have your audience, and you can still
right.
grow. There's still that chance of growing from there. What do you stand to lose when you do not go into that collaboration with them, and what do you stand to gain? I think you should weigh both up against each other. So
The
you're
best.
not going to lose anything. I mean, if you're on your own, you're just maybe possibly going to stay at the same level, but you
Mm-hmm.
collaborating with a bigger label might actually catapult you, definitely, in most cases, and then you can build from there than just remaining at the same place just because you do not want to give away something you
You're
own
right.
just for
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
a
there's
little bit of
definitely
time.
pros and cons.
It's a good
It
idea, but
depends. It depends on the
in
contract. Like
in
Mhm,
my opinion, after a record label leaves you, they don't
mhm,
just leave. It's like any other government organization. They will try to
mhm,
sign you for 1 more year, 2 more years. If they see like they can still take some juice out of you, right? They will give you a contract. And when you reject that contract to say, no, 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 I can't do this, you
mhm.
might get blackballed. So that means, the radio station that is playing your music and making you stay relevant, if you go back to them and say, hey, they might say, because the record label already reached out to them to say, that's a no. They pull the
Mm.
plugs and then you're no longer represented. It's harder for you when you go back to being independent. So unless you want to continue, there's a reason why some big, like, very big famous singers, they quit music because they know, like, if I try to go this time, I'm not going to get a bop. because
Mm-hmm.
my record label, I already got my contract all done, and they pull the plug. When they pull the plugs, it doesn't matter how famous you are, how well known you are. You try to go back there and try to go do music again and submit your songs. They're going to put it underneath like that. Yeah, because when
Okay.
the record label pulls the plug, it's done.
Right. So I'm just gonna keep my fingers crossed for you guys that it goes through and that you have very good.
I mean, yeah, thank you. I mean, there's been artists that have overcome. It's rare, but artists have overcome the whole pulling the plug. You know,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
art comes to mind, or people
Definitely.
that have
But
gotten shelved. You know,
But then
Chris
you have to
Brown.
do something extraordinary though. You see someone, you've seen like a lot of artists that had to like go to the press and cry to the press. And like I've seen a lot of people that I don't want to mention their names because I don't want to,
it is very political. Like you are absolutely right. Like you have to ask yourself, do I want to play that game? Because
exactly.
that's what it is.
Can I interject?
Yeah.
Okay.
But if a great contract comes to you guys, go ahead, get it to what I usually, what I did was, get it to an entertainment industry attorney. Because sometimes you might read it and be excited and say, oh, someone needs to actually explain it to you before you say, oh, I am going to literally
We have an attorney because we
good.
Looked at some contracts with him already.
So with Blessing, right? These people wanted 93.7% of all revenue. And I said, can that be with just the profits from whatever event? Nope, it's the revenue. Meaning, if they put in 100,000 for that event, they don't care to say, okay, let's take our stuff from whatever the profit is. So if the event costs like 20,000 to do and we spent 100,000, let's take it from the profit that we made. If it's a sold out show, no, they want it from both the spending and the stuff. You're literally getting screwed. So I would literally be walking home like maybe from 100,000, maybe like $2,000, and I left my kids and my easy life to go on tour and work for $2,000. You got to think about it. So it's like you're spending more money than what you're getting for your time. Also, like everything else, like your makeup and all of that.
Yeah. Okay.
You're going to be in debt.
Because I'm curious. You said, can I interject?
Gonna quickly grab something. Go ahead.
So the first thing is something to emphasize. You got a shitty deal. You got a shitty offer. But that's because you didn't have any leverage to be able to come back with. And so the big thing is everything is negotiable in any business. If I come to you and say, hey, I sell coconuts, you sell, I don't know, you sell cookies, we can negotiate anything. You could say, well, I'll give you 2 cookies for 1 coconut or whatever I was selling. Yeah, coconuts.
Yeah.
Because we both have something to offer. If you come to a record label, which just goes back to the whole original question from before. If you go to a record label with nothing really to give them, they're even if they like your music enough, they're going to give you a terrible deal.
They're going to lowball you, yes. And we did have a negotiation back and forth for like 2-3 months. I was really hopeful. Didn't work out.
Record labels or music industry is a very high risk industry because number one, people can go on and off like that in a minute. And it's not just the record labels, it's the artists too, where the artists.
You mean people as in the artist?
I'm saying either one, the record label can pull the plug, which I want to also address, but artists also self-destruct. I no longer want to record anymore. I don't want to be a musical artist anymore. I want to be a ballerina or whatever, or I'm on crack right now and I'm not doing anything. So it's a high risk industry for both ends. Yes, the record label has a lot of control, but they don't have control over the artist that just self-destructs or goes Kanye and goes on interviews and starts talking all kinds of crazy stuff, which works for Kanye's brand, I guess, but it doesn't work for most people because it turns people off and it alienates people. And so it's high risk for both ends. So that's the first thing to understand. That's why for a record label, they already know they're taking a big risk and they're making the initial investment. And I'm not defending record labels because they take advantage of young artists that don't know any better and will sign anything because they see $50,000, $100,000. Oh, that's more money than I've had in my life. I'm going to ball out of control, not understanding that if you do anything in the industry, $100,000 is going to be gone like that. Like it means nothing in this industry, especially when you understand, we talked before about all the things you need to do with that money. It's not $100,000 you can live on for the next few years.
I mean, you can spend $100,000 just trying to market.
You
Period.
totally that
Like that's nothing.
totally. So
Or on the music videos.
from a record label's perspective, it's every artist is a risky investment. But secondly, if you are a smart artist, if you understand the business, you are going to make sure that you control your fan base. So at the end of the day, if you're the one on the social media posting, if you're the one at show signing, if you're the one who's always reaching out to people and connecting, it doesn't matter if the label pulls the plug, you control your own fans.
Right.
But only if you're smart. Most artists get signed and they say, okay, label, take care of all my worries, make me famous and wake me up when I'm there. And guess what? That's how you get fucked, because the label has complete control over you then. And they're doing everything for you, and you don't even know how to do the things that they're doing, nor do you know what they're doing, nor do you know how much money they're spending to do it, which ultimately comes back on your tab. Your wardrobe, your car, your whatever, they're charging it up. They're charging it up. Marketing charging it up. So as a smart artist, even if you take a deal that isn't super favorable, if you use that to catapult yourself, and your deal was too shitty, I would have never taken it either. I agree 100%.
I didn't take it.
But if you're a smart artist and you're in your business and you are making sure that you know what's going on and your manager is in there with you, and you end up building it so the record label can't control you. Because think about Drake and all the money he makes. His last deal was $34 million from a record label. That's insane. But guess what? They can't let Drake walk away. They literally know if he's not with us, it's going to be with somebody else. We will let him dictate the terms to us, basically, because he makes us more money than 34 million. When you're in that position, you know that you've done something well, and you know how to work your own business, which is my number one thing for every artist. Even when you're signed and before you're signed, learn the business so you don't get screwed.
Well, good thing I went to school for it.
No, go ahead.
I went to school for it.
Oh.
I graduated college as a theater generalist. So I learned management, acting, music, dancing, backstage, everything.
So knowledge is also very crucial in the business.
I feel like it's good to have great representation. You have to have really great mentors and just be on it. Like, do you understand really what's happening? Is this a shitty deal? Oh yeah, it is. What can we do to turn it around? You know, make sure you understand where all your wins are. Because if you're in that business, you want to be, I think the only person that really like wins is their biggest artist. Like, think about that for a second. So every label has their biggest artist, right? They banking on that Beyonce. Everybody else, you know what? We might just shelve your ass because we trying to put all our resources over here right now.
Which is another big reason why you have to know when it's right. You have to know that you have, going back to the coconuts and cookies, we both have something to negotiate. So we both stand to win and lose. If I come to a record label, going back to what I said before, with 10 million fans, I can show you that I can already make $10,000 every time I perform. You have the negotiating power, and you know the label isn't just going to mess around with you if one song fails, put you on the back shelf, and give you nothing else to work with. Because it's true, you've already illustrated that you can make the money on your own. You didn't need the label to be self-sufficient. What you want from the label is really the connections. That's the one thing that's the hardest thing as an independent artist. Because a label, if they love you, all of a sudden you find yourself at all these parties. You find yourself at all these interviews. You find yourself doing collabs with artists that are 5 tiers above you. Because the label, when they are believing you, they can make those things happen. As an independent artist, you got to work really hard to get at one of those parties. You have to work really hard to get at one of those interviews. And you can do it. But a record label, like you said before, that's the one advantage. They snap their fingers if they believe in you and you have that negotiating power. And all this stuff happens for you. And the only time you blow it is when you stop taking it seriously and you don't keep in your hands in the business, and you don't keep your hands as a creator and continually serious about your craft, continuously serious about your shows, and really honing it, constantly making yourself better as an artist, and making yourself better as your own owner, because that's what you are. You own your own business, and you're contracting out to a label, but you still own your own business. And if you don't understand what they're doing with your business, you're allowing them to take control 100% of your business. And then that's where artists really do fail. And they wonder what happened in 3 years, 5 years, when they're like, man, I can't keep it going. Well, you slipped. You slipped.
Right.
The record label is never going to slip. They're going to make sure they get their money. They're going to make sure that when you're no longer profitable, you get put on the shelf.
Yeah.
At that point, you have to know how to. If you just couldn't in the 3 years generate the hits that they wanted, during that time, you still have to be building that fan base. You still have to use whatever you have. So when you walk away, you still have control because your brand is your brand. They only own it as long as the contract is valid. Once you walk away, your brand is still your brand. So that means that people bought into not Universal Music. They bought into Frida's brand. So if you have established it well and you have that connection, the record label can never take that away from you. And that's why you see artists, I'm trying to think recently, there's 2 or 3 rap artists. I'm not the biggest rap head, but 2 or 3 rap artists recently that walked away from their next record deal and became independent. Why? Because they realized there came a point now where I don't need a label anymore. I can actually make more money without a label. And sometimes they say crazy stuff like, well, the label didn't do anything. No, they stuck a bunch of money into you to get you where you are. But when the contract ended, you were smart enough to see, okay, we benefited each other. Now let me go and make this money out here.
Right.
But they control their fan base. They control their brand. And they know they can continue doing what the label does without them.
I would be interested in knowing why a label approaches like Frida with a shitty contract. Are they, because it's just a quick money grab, if nothing
Oh, it
else.
is. It totally is.
But are they also looking for legacy artists at the same time?
Do you, and if you can't say, that's fine, but do you know what label it was? Was it a subsidiary?
I really cannot say their name. That was one of the things they had instructed. I was so excited, and I was telling my people, like, my fan base and all of that, and just saying, I'm excited. We're going through this, contract stage and going back and forth with it. But I was going to be one of their first signed female artists. So yeah, which would have been a great deal because they have other big male artists. They need a female, and they needed me because Afro was going crazy viral in America, and they're like, okay, we gotta look for an Afro artist, someone that's not signed, and I happen to be in the United States, so it's like, okay, and I do Afro music, just an FYI. So that was the reason why they reached out to me. So they were actively looking for a female.
Yeah.
But I was
Talking
wondering, are they
about
looking
Afro.
for?
I think that these are guesses because I didn't look at the contract nor do I know who the label was. But my guess is where they were relying on the fact that you were young enough to not really understand and could be taken advantage of.
No, I don't think so. Because
A 93%.
yeah,
That's excuse my language. That's rape. That is literally that is 93%. That is literally taking everything.
Mm-hmm.
90, yeah.
We call that slavery in America. Except I guess we didn't even get to 7%.
That's like a
But
predatory
it
loan.
is. It's so to me, there is no way that anyone in their right mind that is like, well, let me take this to a lawyer and have them read this. Or maybe you write it yourself because you studied it. But nobody in their right, I don't care how desperate you are, and unless that advance was like they offered you $10 million or something like there's just no way. So in my mind, all I can think, it would be like me coming to you and saying, hey, you want to buy this car for $10,000? You'd be like, well, can I see if it runs? No, you don't have to worry about that. Well, can I see the interior? No, you don't have to worry about the interior either. Well, can I see the trunk? No, don't see what's in the trunk. And you're just like, what's the deal? $10,000 car, but I can't see anything. Yeah. The only thing you know in your mind is he believes that if I don't see anything, that I'll just look at the outside of the car and be like, oh, it's a nice looking car. Let me just buy this car. But if you look under the hood, you're going to be like, this is crap. Everybody knows if you can't start a car, you shouldn't buy a car. Everybody knows that a 93% deal, doesn't matter what it is a terrible deal. So in my mind, all I can think
it's worse like a 360 deal too. Like where you
a 360, 93%?
No. I said it's worse like a 360.
Oh, so what did that 93%? Was it just royalties from streaming? Where was it?
It was royalties and also like stage performances. Like if they were gonna put me on tour, but every tour that I went to, they get 93.7%. And I said, listen, I got 3 kids. I got to think about like paying for a full-time nanny for those kids because I'm not leaving my kids high and dry. So that whatever percent left is not gonna cut it. I need a reason to let my kids know that listen, I didn't just ignore my duties as a mom to you.
Right,
I was
right. No, I
making money,
agree.
and that's why you can have this lifestyle. It's
Yeah.
not.
If you were not a mom and you didn't have children, would you have taken that deal?
No, I would not have taken that deal either. But my children actually made me, decide right away and said, nope, this is not gonna be for me.
Yeah.
And I
So
did
I'm
send
just
my
gonna
own
I'm
offer.
gonna jump in a bit because of time.
Yeah.
You mentioned Afro music. Frida does Afro. Is Afro something you guys might be considering? Looking at the way Afro has really infused into all different genres already.
I love Afrobeat. Like, come on. Like, and it really is making its presence here in the US.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if if I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't the Grammys just make that a major category, like its own? You thank
Yeah.
God. Like,
Yeah.
show some respect. But yes, I'm a fan. Would we consider blessing you were asking us, will we consider doing that kind of music or
Yeah. Or incorporating it into your
oh,
genre.
absolutely, like doing a collaboration. I mean, I wouldn't consider myself an Afrobeat artist because I feel like I'm not in the culture. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'd be a fake Afrobeat artist, but I do have mad love, and I would absolutely love to collaborate with.
Listen, you love Beyonce. Beyonce did a whole Afrobeat
Exactly,
album.
exactly.
And now she's doing country.
You know what? You're trying to show us, like, listen, you can do whatever you want to do. I mean, she just
Exactly.
basically
Yeah.
the whole statement that I just made
Mm-hmm.
just blew that out the water.
Right. We have
Yeah.
a question in the comments area. Someone is asking if you tour.
If we what?
If we took.
Do you go on tour?
Currently no. Since we've become the artist duo group ST OSHUN, we have not toured since then. So it's been like 3 years, 4 years since we've toured. We've done some shows, but we haven't toured yet. We would love to.
That's supposedly in the works. We've just created a business plan to shop to some investors and some grants, and that would be in the budget. It would be basically what
Freedom.
Rita was talking about. It'd be basically a private investor 1 album deal, and it would include tour support as well as the recording itself, etc.
Yeah, because touring is, I mean, we know as artists that have toured is very expensive. It's very expensive to do. And is the reason why we haven't yet as ST OSHUN.
We've definitely
We do miss it.
We've definitely kind of shifted our marketing strategy recently to be able to do some more to do some regional touring, and to get back to also we have done 2 Afrobeat songs.
I mean, I would consider them. He keeps calling them Afrobeat. I feel like they're like, I don't know if pseudo Afrobeat would be the right name because doesn't pseudo mean like fake?
New.
But it has like to me, it's like comparing jazz to smooth jazz, right? So it had some Afrobeat elements.
Mm-hmm.
But so Spotlight is the first one, and then what was the
Really Love Your Way?
And then Really Love Your Way. So they're more like pop Afrobeat, if I could.
I think our approach to it is what makes it seem less Afrobeat, because I don't try and be an Afrobeat artist because I don't want to sound like a jerk. Like I just don't. It's not like Portia said. It's not how I grew up.
Like it's not.
And
like,
I want to be offensive.
I'm not a part of the culture.
Yeah.
So then I would feel like I'm like a fake Afrobeat artist because I'm not an Afrobeat. That's like me trying to. I mean, I guess that's a terrible example, but that's how I now think of Beyonce doing her country song. Like
that's
it's just depends on what speaks to your heart. Like
that's why I asked you guys which one of you is from Nigeria, because the name.
Oh yeah. Or Brazil.
There's a state in Nigeria that's actually state, but it's spelled differently. Just an FYI.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, she's African American. So
now talking about your work, we've talked about hard work, about knowledge, about owning your business, owning what you do. you guys have already done like 10 singles with music videos, and one of the singles you produced was, I believe, Spotlight, which was shot in Michael Jackson's mansion. So walk me through that process. How did you even get there?
You know, the ways of Hollywood. I always think like, 5 years ago, I would have never thought I could say like, I would have never thought like, oh, you're gonna shoot a music video at Michael Jackson's house. I'd have been like, how? But that's one of the beauties of moving to Los Angeles is I remember a lot of our friends saying, why are you moving there? You could build your career here. Like they think so small because they're not really thinking. But when I say they think small, they're not really considering like, no, when you get to LA, this is the entertainment capital of the world. You are in close proximity of everything and everyone that you need to get in touch with, period. So even if you go to a coffee shop, you're probably going to you're going to see someone, you're having conversation, you're just going about your life. You are going to run. I mean, just the instances of me running into celebrities and really understanding that just living here, we're probably only 1 or 2 degrees away from a lot of people that we just see on TV. Like I'm probably 2 degrees away from the Carters, So back to your question, we were our creative director at the time and choreographer. Her name is Ebony. She had envisioned us doing the music video at this mansion that was owned by a woman that owns a hair company called Pretty Party. And she has this mansion that she offers to artists, models, actors. In exchange, it's like there's a barter happening there, right? So it's more of a product placement. Like you can use this location and not pay for it, but instead wear my products in your content, do a commercial. And so we got on a Zoom with her. It was our first Zoom meeting to talk about the music video and using her location, this mansion that she owned. And Charles began to tell her the story about Spotlight and why we wrote it and what it was about and what it represented. And she just got emotional. She's like,
oh,
I love this story. And she goes, and I don't know between I love this story and offering us the Michael Jackson mansion, I still to this day didn't understand the connection that was going on in her mind. And I guess it really doesn't matter. But she says, I love this story. We need more messaging like this. And then she goes, there's another mansion that I would love to offer to you. And then she goes, and then she says it so quickly. Remember that? She's like, Michael Jackson used to live there, and it's where he passed away. And then she starts talking business. We're like, whoa, wait a minute. Did you just say Michael?
Yeah. Don't be too fast. Michael Jackson?
Yeah, I was like, wait, what? Did she what? Did I hear? You're like, did I?
I know.
Did I just hear
Michael Jackson?
And then I was like, oh my God. So even though that place probably only her husband owns this place. And he owns a couple of mansions. She has a mansion. Like they've got a lot of money. And that's his mansion that he owns. And we found out that there's only been maybe two other opportunities where it turned into a film set. Otherwise, they don't really like using it or offering it. But we were one of the lucky 2 or 3, and yeah, all we had to do in exchange was wear the hair, have the ladies wear the hair, do a few commercials.
Oh, that's
and
nice.
they said it would, if we didn't do that, the cost would be like, did they say $32,000 for that location? We had them dollars.
Yeah.
But I did have the wherewithal to put that hair on, so.
Amazing.
But that's how we ended up there. But to me, it's just the nature of the connections you begin to have while you move about here in Hollywood.
Right.
It's sounds like such an unlikely story, but I think that's how people move here. Everything's unlikely. You know, everything's so non-traditional. Like, how
Right.
did you get that part? How did you do this? You know?
Interesting, quite interesting. And I'm actually very impressed. Looking at your work, looking at your music videos, I'm really blown away. I know it should cost quite much. I mean, looking at, the level, the crispiness, the quality, the props, everything. I also see a little bit of gothic touch in some of your music videos. You want to talk us through that? Do you recognize that yourself?
Which music videos?
I'm
Probably
guessing I do.
Did you guys watch I Do?
It's
Probably.
I do is the one that's playing in the background right now. Is that the one you're referring to? I do.
I think so. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. So yeah, I've been the creative director for our last, I don't even know, uh, maybe 5 music videos. So that I'm tired of watching music videos that are predictable. If you saw our most recent one, that is definitely our most least predictable one. If you watch it to the end, you definitely didn't see what happens at the end. But the one you're referring to right now, I do. When I was thinking about it, listening to it, I'm like, this is a super fun pop song, and everybody's going to expect it to be a super bright and cheery. I said, that's not what we're doing. We're not doing that. We need to have some kind of emotional contrast to the song because it's already so sunny and bright, even though the lyrics are not completely that way. It's so poppy. I said, what if we went the opposite direction and made it dark and made Portia a voodoo queen that turns men into statues when she gets tired of them or when they get too close to her? So it ties very well into the theme of the song. So that's where that came from. I just wanted something completely opposite of what you'd expect for a song like that.
I think
Right.
you're more into performance art than most people.
Oh, I totally am. I feel like a music video is I can tell you how quickly, and this is because I'm bougie, but I can tell you how quickly that when I see a bad music video, I cut it off. Just because I'm like, if it's just a girl shaking her ass, like congratulations, you did the same video that I've seen 100 times before, or if it's the same stuff that I've seen, I'm like, I'm over it already. Like I can just listen to this on Spotify. I don't need to watch a music video. So to me, music video is a opportunity to create, to tell a story about the song. And the story isn't necessarily why you wrote the song, because those music videos would look very different. We didn't write this song because Portia's a voodoo queen. That had nothing to do with it. It was, how can we tell this story in a creative way, in an interesting way, and create a contrast to what everybody will expect?
Right.
Because I feel like that's what people like. That's what makes something interesting, is not seeing the same thing 100 times. The time that you sit down to a spaghetti dinner and there's a fish in the middle of it, it might be disgusting, but you'll still talk about it. But if it's the same spaghetti and meatballs that everybody serves, you're going to forget about it the next day.
True,
But I
true.
guarantee you,
So
when you see
to give our audience a bit of an idea,
yes,
I'm going to play a clip, just a little piece of it,
okay,
so we have an idea.
okay.
I think it's going to be this
It was
one.
good, but it wasn't all that.
Girl, that man was as dry as a Popeye's biscuit.
Bald ass, lemon head looking ass boy. Nice.
That man was so skimpy. You on a diet?
Tasted like a bag of old Dustin Nichols.
We should have went with #1.
We should
I
have.
think he was kind of cute though. I'm not gonna lie.
He looked like he tasted
You
better.
lie. You a lie.
No,
You a lie.
he looked like he tasted mom.
They might come from the same neighborhood. Them two.
Amazing. Were you guys able to hear what they were saying? I found it so hilarious. Like a Dracula scene. They just ate all of you. Well,
And that scene, it was like literally off the cuff. Charles, as the director at the time, gave us a few lines. We were like, what do you want us to say? And he, after they set us in the positions they wanted us, got the camera set up, and he goes, well, I wrote down a few lines so you guys can get a vibe. So he read them all off. And I think that's where I got the bag of Dustin Nichols from. Because I remember you read that off. But yeah,
awesome.
funny.
Lovely,
That was
lovely.
fun. That was a fun scene.
Karen, thank you so much for 49.99 super sticker. God bless you so much. I'm gonna move on to my next question. Talking about collaborations, I also see here that you opened for, is it Shaka Khan or Chaka Khan? How do you pronounce that? But I know she's a legend. How did that collaboration go?
Oh, I mean, honestly, this was at a big festival in on Lake Michigan,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember thinking like, "Oh my God, we're opening up for Shaka Khan." I wasn't even worried about our show. I just wanted to see Shaka
Mm.
as a longtime fan, and I remember camping. I remember camping out in backstage,
Mm-hmm.
waiting for her to come out of her trailer.
Oh, really?
Yes. I was waiting for her to come out of her trailer. In fact, she didn't even go in her trailer. Now that I remember. So behind stage, they had trailers for the artist and
Mm-hmm.
for each artist, because we weren't the only opening act.
Oh,
There's a few other opening acts, and they had their trailers. But when Shaka pulled up in the tour bus, I was like, "Ooh, I'm just gonna wait here and wait till she comes out of the tour bus to go to her trailer." That girl never came out. Everybody else used the green room in the trailer that was a part of her team, like her band. She did not come out. And in fact, I ended up getting kicked out of backstage after a certain time because she probably didn't want anyone around. So, but they did offer me front seat.
so
Front
that
seat.
wasn't really a pleasant experience.
So I did go. I just marched my butt back out. I left in my little stalking station. But that was my biggest memory, is me waiting for her to come out of that tour bus that she never came out of until the stage runner's like, so you guys have to leave now.
Can
Sometimes
we
it's
help
like
you?
that when you open up for really big artists.
Yeah.
They they know they're probably trying to protect their energy, and they know as soon as they step
Mm.
out of that room, or as soon as they step out of this and that, that even the artists that are opening up for them and their team is going to be like, ooh, 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 like wanting to get an autograph. Or I wasn't going to do all that. I probably was just going to watch, but they're just trying to protect them. So that was my biggest memory.
Okay, great. Um, I would just like to know who else you'd like to work with, collaborate with outside of Beyonce. I think you're crazy about Beyonce. Uh,
I would love to work with Miss Beyonce.
I know, but aside Beyonce, who else?
She's like, I read your mind, so I already know. Um, hmm. Who would you like to work with?
Charles, who do you love?
Stevie Wonder.
Of course, of course, of
I mean,
course, of
Stevie.
course.
And I love my Stevie.
Yes. This is going to be hilarious to you after the last conversation, but I would love to work with Thames. She's one of my favorite artists right
Oh,
now.
Thames.
Thames.
Friends?
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Really?
Her one song, what is it called? Me and You. Only Me and You. You don't know that one? Y'all don't know what I'm talking
No.
about? Oh.
They're
Maybe
like,
sing a bit of it. Maybe I might know it.
Do it. Only me and you. Only me. Only you. Only me and
You know Thames is Afro, right?
That's why I said it. It's funny because I had just gotten done saying I didn't want I was
You,
uncomfortable being on Afro.
yeah.
Mhm. I
But no,
wasn't
Thames is
expecting
Afro.
you to say
See?
Thames.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of people that love Afro now. They just like Chris Brown is deep inside Afro, like he
Mhm.
lives there.
I mean, Drake been trying to sell us Afrobeat for like the longest.
Well, I don't think Drake is just for the hype. I think to me, I love Drake, right? But I feel like it was something trending for him, and he just put the name in there.
Yeah, yeah, but I'm
He
just
didn't
saying,
really take it a step further. So someone like Chris Brown, he's the best person right now that's really, literally
Mhm.
doing Afro a lot. I love that. Hmm.
But so yours, Tim's. I mean, I would like to work with a lot of artists, honestly. I probably got a nice long list.
Who else aside from Beyonce though?
I know you probably because you probably would be surprised by this, but Alicia Keys. Like I'm thinking of like
That's hilarious. And I'm not going to say
What?
that. That's
Did you
hilarious.
say Alicia
Wait.
Keys?
Did you just say Alicia
It's
Keys?
like she is the goat and
Who
like
is?
power ballads and
Wait. Portia, I'm gonna need you to literally tell me again. Who? Alicia Keys?
Alicia Keys.
Wow.
Oh, the shade! Oh, the shade!
She to me is right. I knew I was gonna get something. Just her. How do I say this?
She's
Well,
a
if
great
you love her,
songwriter.
that's
She's a
good.
great songwriter.
It's
Nobody
her
can take
song.
that away from her.
To me, it's her songwriting. Like she
Yeah.
knows how to do a very simple power ballad. Period.
Yeah. Well, that's
Every time I'm like, because to me, I mean, you know, she's not, I mean, you have singers that have they're great vocalists, they're great performers, and that's why you like them. They're all these things. For me, and what she brings to the music industry is like this power ballad thing, and that is it. So there's Alicia Keys. I just had someone else in mind. I just forgot.
Ariana Grande.
Ariana.
Yeah.
I love Ariana Grande's voice.
She's not on my list, but Riri is definitely at the top. Rihanna. I just love everything Rihanna.
Mariah Carey.
She's just like right here. Who? Mariah Carey. Oh my gosh, Mariah Carey. If Whitney Houston was still alive, I would want to do it. Man, I love me some Whitney Houston.
Whitney, yeah.
For example.
I would love to do a collab with Bruno Mars.
Oh yeah.
Because he's just so fun. I just feel like I would be having
a great time.
The thing would be fun, period.
Yeah. Bruno's always happy.
Yeah. Like he's always joking around and funny and fun.
He's like that best friend that you always want to go see because you're having a bad day. You know that best friend's gonna lift you up. That's Bruno right there.
Right.
Someone says Alicia Keys is a fabulous songwriter. I mean, all the people you mentioned are up there vocally.
It has nothing to do with anything else but the fact that it's on this piano.
Definitely love who you love.
Because I used to hate on her for a long time, honestly.
Why? Well, I mean, no reason. No, don't say anything.
Let's not say that. What does she see?
That's
She's
good.
like, I don't want that bitch. She's like,
yeah, she's
good things.
She's amazing, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, she honestly, she's not. I mean, let's just be real. She's not like the best vocalist or, you know, the best stage performer by any stretch of the imagination. But that girl can write a hook like nobody's business on a piano. Her and that piano. So I'm very impressed by her by that.
She's good.
Kind of reminds me of like a Joni Mitchell, you know. I don't know if you guys know who Joni Mitchell is.
No, just use Lionel Richie. Lionel Richie can write so good.
Lionel Rich.
He's so good. Like I can't. I don't want to even think about it because he's such an amazing artist to me.
And then these days, I want to call people writers, and I don't even know because half the time, you know, like so let's say Beyonce, you look at the credits and it'll be like 10 people. I'm like, who wrote this? So then I'm always interested, like, which part did Beyonce write? Or did she just have a powwow session with them about?
You can always negotiate, like, you know, just say, put my name in there because I said, oh.
Girl, don't be doing that these days all the time.
But anybody, you know, anybody can put their name on there if you're that big. Now, if you're upcoming, you don't have a choice but to say you did not have any.
Right. And honestly, I'm usually attracted to artists because, I mean, absolutely because of the art itself. You know, like you're like, wow, they really touched me, you know.
Yeah.
or they changed my life because of their art. But to be honest with you, I like to be around people that have such a strong belief in themselves because they've gotten so far in their career. I'm trying to be around that. I want to know what they got.
Right.
I want to feel that energy.
That's good.
Alicia Keys is one of them. So it's like for someone that isn't the best singer in the world and isn't, necessarily the best performer, like how did you get where you are now? What are you bringing? What is going on? Can I get next to you? Give me some of that juice.
Right, I know. I can see Charles.
Oh no, he's not even in the.
Okay, so I'm gonna
closer.
just hi. Now I can see you better. I'm gonna ask the last question. Wait, someone says hi, beautiful people. I thought you guys were going live on Facebook. I'm late. Well,
We tried Facebook. Facebook was giving us some issues technically, and we couldn't do it because it's saying like the page was, newly created. So you guys bear with us. We're definitely going to share this video on there too. So we're going to improve as long as Facebook can allow us to do it. But yeah.
So you live in Minnesota,
Mm-hmm.
Frida, and then Blessing, you live
in the Netherlands.
In the Netherlands.
Yes. Reminds me of Peter Pan. Let's go see Peter Pan.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Really.
So you guys are everywhere.
Far away from you guys. I think it's now almost 1 a.m.
Oh my God, girl.
Yes.
It's time.
Thank you for being on.
Bedtime.
I mean, it's quiet here now, so this is like ideal time for me to.
Oh, it is? Okay. But still, I appreciate you being able to get on.
I mean, I have enjoyed my time here with you guys. Oh, someone is saying J-Lo, for example. Oh, I don't think J-Lo is strong vocally. I think she's a great performer, great dancer, but when it comes to the art, I'm not feeling her like that.
I'm gonna be Mariah Carey right now and say I don't know her.
Oh, baby, I love Miss J-Lo too. I love Mariah. I love J-Lo.
You didn't just say that.
J-Lo, you know what? Honestly, J-Lo isn't. I mean, let me just give her flowers. J-Lo is an amazing performer.
Yes.
She captivated us when she did Selena.
Yeah,
did her first movie.
That's how she got her fame, you know.
Mm-hmm. And she killed it. She killed that. Now all the other things that is coming out about her, unfortunately.
But baby, it's all someone saying something though. So, but you still have to give it to them, regardless of like what you hear about them, unless you actually see them do it to you. Like I really be believing the news, all of that like that.
I've never thought that, I was never really attracted to J-Lo as a vocalist.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I'm saying that she can't sing. It's just it just wasn't. It's just not she wasn't really speaking to me.
Okay.
And to be honest with you, I've heard her vocals get way better over the years. She's really been working hard. But I will give her flowers because that woman works hard.
She does.
She works hard. She does an amazing job as a performer. Her acting chops are solid.
Mm-hmm.
And J-Lo is the only artist in the United States that I've gone to a concert to see.
Oh, you saw her?
Yes. When I say in real life, I love her. She's even way more entertaining. There's no fake stunt, none of that. This girl can entertain. I had my eyes like this the whole night.
Really?
Amazing.
Okay.
She's gorgeous in real life. Like
maybe I need to see her live because I have.
Oh my God. To look that flawless like J-Lo, no. It's not even possible. But
go J-Lo.
I love her. She got a good spirit, and she performed with her daughter the day I saw her. Amazing. I got this invitation to sit really like very close to like the front stage and all that, and I was just.
That's amazing.
So yeah, and she's not like my favorite artist, but I give her flowers all the time. sing, dance, act. I give it to her. She's so gorgeous, so
Yeah, for her age, this woman is over
Mhm.
50.
she's gorgeous, yeah.
How old is J-Lo?
She's in her
She's
50s,
over
girl.
50. She's over.
About
Like,
55.
like 55, 56, yeah.
She
Yo.
can teach us a thing or two. She can teach us a thing or two. Like, give that woman her
That's
flowers.
that's what I said, because in real life she smells good and she looks great.
Not
And
to
I'm
smell
like,
good.
girl,
Did you that close?
Ah,
she smells so good. I'm like, can you,
You were that close.
yeah.
I'm
No, for real. Yeah. You know why? 'Cause it was a radio station that actually gave me the invitation to be there. So they put me in one of the best seats in the house. So I'm like, can she tell me what she sprayed on? Because, girl, I know you look gorgeous, but I kind of really like that smell. Now, her
someone said,
and Rihanna are the two people that I know that smell really good. That's why Rihanna, I came close to meeting Rihanna at Santa Monica. I stayed in Santa Monica proper hotel. And Rihanna was there, and I was like,
J-Lo
"Baby,
is 54.
smells this great. What's going on?" Yes. I love
I
any
think,
woman that smells great.
yeah. Rihanna strikes me like someone who has a very strong and sweet personality. Like she connects with you. Because I followed her journey when she went to India recently, and I could feel
Yeah.
that human side of her, different from
She's
what you.
lovable. Yes, she's very lovable, and so is Jennifer Lopez.
Hmm.
Nah, your girl. Nah,
Beyonce?
my cousin worked with your girl, and no.
Who's your girl?
Beyonce?
Your girl.
Oh, my. What's your girl?
Yes, baby, your girl, your B.
Beyonce.
My cousin worked with her, and allegedly, because I'm not gonna say it's 100% true, because she told me she got fired for looking at her. So, baby, I don't play that girl, honey.
Just for looking
You don't
at
look at her. Yeah, she worked on the crew, and you cannot look at her. They tell you when she's stepping in, you gotta like bow down. And my cousin is Nigerian. She don't bow down to nobody unless you're Jesus.
No, I don't believe the story.
No. This is actually true, but allegedly.
I've never heard that.
No.
Don't look at her like this. Yeah, girl, yes. Girl, yes. I'm
You
telling
can't
you,
look at Beyonce in her eyes.
this is my cousin that works. She got fired. She's like, Frida, I cannot believe this. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry, girl.
Is she sure that's why she got fired? Because she looked
No,
at
that's why she got fired. Because everybody.
Maybe she was staring. Maybe she was starstruck and she was staring.
No,
and
they tell you to stop, so you don't like walk and run into her or whatever. They tell you to stop, and they say stop, look down. She's like, look down. I don't understand. She's
Maybe
Nigerian.
because maybe this is interesting. Because when you're that famous,
Yeah.
I often think about people that are really famous and when they're just going about their lives, right? And if that's what you want for your life, because let's say you go to a restaurant, you can't even enjoy your food because you got people staring at you like you're like a zoo animal.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you chose that though.
You did, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if people gawking at her because she is bigger than life, right? She's very famous. And now you're staring at this famous person and they can't work.
Sure.
She just gotta walk past.
So maybe that's a reason why you're like, okay, nobody, like, please don't gawk at me because I can't get in my zone.
Right. Sounds really, really.
Because it's too much. I'm just a regular person right now. I'm trying to get some work done.
But it's all
to feel
allegedly,
right.
okay? So it's all allegedly. We're just, putting our suggestions out there. Allegedly.
I wonder if that's the no staring rule.
But someone is confirming it in the comments anyway. Someone says wait, let me read it. It's rumored that she doesn't want anybody to look at her. And
I'm telling you this right now, that my cousin said that literally she only glanced like 2 seconds, because how can you be employed to work for someone and you don't even get to like just glance like this. They want you to literally be like this the whole time she walk past. When she's gone, they'll tell you resume your duty, and then you just go, "Whew, okay, where does this go?" And it's like, who does that? Like,
That's too much.
you can get up and glance. It's just a
That's too much. That's
Mhm.
asking a lot.
But there's people watching everybody, and they go back on the camera and see who disobeyed. When you
Oh,
disobey, you're fired. Hmm.
Oh, see,
wow.
now they being petty.
Yeah,
Because it really should be up to the artist. Like, oh, they made me uncomfortable.
exactly. They were staring at me, and they were supposed to do my makeup, and they
Mhm.
drew my eyebrow funny, like, there's got to be something more to it. But no, she doesn't care. She's
One of
just
my friends, I see that Princess Lion said it's rumored that she does not want anybody to look at her, and other artists have been that way as well. It reminds me of another friend of ours that she was invited to a party at Jamie Foxx's house.
Hmm.
And in the Hollywood, somewhere in, I don't even know where she said it was. It could have been Calabasas. I don't know where Jamie Foxx lives. It could have been the Hollywood Hills. But she was told before going in that same thing.
allegedly.
That's what she said. She was not allowed to look at Jamie Foxx.
Wow.
And they took your phone.
Yeah, they always take your phone. They all you like if
And
you
you got to
ever
sign
get
an NDA.
picture flying out on the internet, it's because
I'm
someone
like, why do I want to come here then if I can't?
look.
And the picture.
Exactly.
I'm
Exactly.
thinking like, if you invite me to your home and you're the host and I can't talk to you or look at you, like, this is not kind of party I want to be at.
Well, they don't tell you those rules before you get there. So you get there, and at the door there's security that takes your phone right away. So there are some people that have been smart enough to put a phone in their pocket, and they put a phone in their purse, and then you take the purse and the phone, but they still got extra. But then you might not get invited to another party.
I guess
I
y'all
have
gonna come to
met
my party.
I have met a celebrity where I didn't get to take a picture, but I can always say his name, Usher Raymond. I just did not get to take a picture or video or none of that. I love Usher, but you can't take a picture unless it's like in a public meeting area, whatever. You
I
can't take
mean,
a picture. Usher is he's beautiful, amazing. I love him.
I get it because these days everybody has a camera. It's not like it used to be, where you had a Polaroid or you had like the film that you had to wait to go get it developed. Everybody's got instant camera, instant video, instant upload to a platforms that
Yeah.
become World Wide Web. Like, times have changed.
Mhm.
So I could see why people are trying to protect themselves from a PR standpoint. You know, no, I don't want you taking pictures with me.
Right. I just want to have fun. I just want to have a good time,
How do I look? Like, you gonna use it? You gonna sell it? Are
Yeah.
you gonna exploit me with it? You know,
Yeah.
it's a different time.
It's 6:06, and I'm gonna be expecting my kids soon.
Yes.
So when they stump in the house, I'm just preparing you guys. The
No
three boys,
problem.
they have a whole lot of energy. So just
How old are they?
I have a 10-year-old, 8-year-old, and a 6-year-old.
Oh Lord, and they coming home from school.
Oh boys, no. They're at my in-laws. So
Oh
I
yeah,
kicked all the boys out of the house. So their dad, the children, I
And the
kicked them all out.
boys.
I'm like, I don't want noise. Go do something.
right.
So they're
Okay.
out.
So before we end the video or before we end the interview, I'd again like to apologize to the people who have waited all week for this interview on Facebook because we're actually supposed to go live on Facebook. We operate a lot on Facebook. We
Yeah.
hardly do videos on YouTube, live videos then. So we apologize. Hopefully next video will be on Facebook. As well as YouTube. Last thing that I would like to do is play just a little bit of, your last song, just a portion of it, so that people have an idea what you sound like. And I think you sound beautiful. Let's see if we
Can I say so? You be looking lost. Let me just talk. I've been having thoughts.
Okay, I don't know if they heard that. I didn't hear anything, to be honest.
So you have
Okay,
to tap on your screen, and it said, for me, that's what it did. It said tap on your screen to hear sound. So there's a notification.
I saw it.
Oh yeah, I did tap on it.
Ah, okay. I missed that. Okay, and another thing we saw there, or another person we saw there in that short clip was Nikki. How did that collaboration go?
Which
Nikki
Nikki?
the
My
dance.
Nikki?
No, your Nikki. Did you work with Nikki?
No, no, no. I'm saying, are you talking about my Nikki, Nicki Minaj?
No.
I
No,
love Nikki so much.
no, she was in the other one.
Oh,
Yeah.
baby.
Nikki the dancer.
I know.
She
Oh, there's another Nikki. Okay, okay,
yeah, the
gotcha.
other one.
Okay.
You wanna tell us
Wait,
a bit
you guys
about that?
know? You guys
No,
know?
I only know Nicki Minaj. Never met her, but I think she's my second mother.
Oh,
I love
Oh,
her.
thank you, Jacqueline. Jacqueline says we heard and saw it. Someone commented actually in the comments earlier on, with the first clip that I played when you guys were having that little chit chat. Someone said, "Oh, that's Nikki." So I thought, okay, I need to ask you
this
how
is
you.
my story. So I'm glad you asked. Go,
Mhm.
Charles. You
So
can scoot over. I'm not gonna bite you.
it was the middle of the night, and I was driving Uber back then, and I was up in the Hollywood Hills, and I picked Nikki up in the middle of the night. She had a bag, and I said, and she had a rack, like a weave rack. And so I said, I already know what you've been up
You
to.
make it braiding hair.
A braiding hair, I don't know, whatever. Does it look like I use it? So whatever it is, one of those. So I said, I know what you've been up to. She said, yeah, I just finished this lady's hair. And so we just started chopping it up. And eventually she said, oh yeah, I'm a dancer. That's really what I love to do. I do hair and side hustles, to make ends meet. But my main passion is dancing. I was like, oh, that's interesting. I'm one half of an artist duo, blah, blah, blah. I said, if you want, we can connect on Instagram and maybe we could have you come and dance on one of our music videos. So when it came time for this one, I reached out to her because I knew she loved to do hip hop. And this song obviously lends itself well to doing hip hop dance. And so she listened to it and she said, oh, yeah, I love that song. Yeah, I love the choreo. I love to dance in it. So she's the choreographer. She obviously was a dancer. And then she knew Brendan, who is the other dancer, the darker skinned dancer. She knew her. I don't know from where, but she was
Dance
a
community.
dance
Probably.
community somewhere. So she was the one to pull in Brendan to be the other dancer.
Yeah, and so Nikki was the choreographer as well as obviously dancing. And she did all the choreography. And I mean, Nikki and Brendan brought it with the dance and the acting. I was not ready for the acting part, but we really appreciate those ladies.
Amazing job. Awesome. I mean, look at how things just play out, being in the right place at the right time,
At the right time.
impromptu, unplanned. Beautiful to see the outcome of it eventually. So last but not least, I've been saying I'm gonna end it, but it's just so interesting having this interaction with you guys. Last but not least, are there maybe projects you're currently working on?
Yes, we're always working on something.
You want to share?
Yeah,
So-
you go ahead.
So yes, the next song I just sent out the chorus idea. We're doing a collaboration with two Jamaican artists, a dancehall song with two Jamaican artists, and we know one. We met the one in New York, so we've just stayed in touch. We've kind of supported each other's music. She's a female reggae artist, and then
She introduced us to the other one.
Okay.
Who, if you go back to Really Love Your Way music video, we hired him as the choreographer and dancer. His name is
Ratty Rich.
Ratty Rich.
Ah.
Who's very,
Wait,
very
why
well.
does it sound like Rhodey? It sounds like Rhodey Rich. Is that who it is?
No,
Oh, another person.
no, this is a Jamaican artist.
Okay.
Jamaican artist. Yeah.
So we've always kept in touch with both of them. So while he's a choreographer dancer, he's also an artist.
Okay.
Nice. Well, good luck on that.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
we're-
anytime from now, we should be expecting some dance hall
Yeah.
The end of May.
I'm so excited about that one.
The end of May. Yep, it'll drop the end of May. And then we're doing a collaboration with a Mexican artist in July. And at that point, we're probably going to be trying to release a full album in the fall.
Okay. Okay. Amazing. So I'm just gonna say I wish you both all the best of luck. I think you're on the right track already. The universe just needs to, that connection just has to strike, and it takes time. Sometimes it takes something, it's spiritual, it's deep, but I know and I believe that you will hit that point, and I'm just here for it, waiting for it.
I'm receiving all of that.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you guys for
Thank you
creating.
so much.
Thank you so
I'm
much.
always wishing you guys the best.
Yes.
Journey.
I'm excited to follow this podcast. So
Thank you. And you guys are the first people.
Huh?
You guys are the first people to come on it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we are?
Yeah.
Wait.
It's brand new.
So the other episodes have just been, so we're the first guests?
The first guest, yes.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Virgins. We just broke it in.
So hence all the hitches we had, starting, but I'm glad, we pulled it through and we have come to the end of today's program. But I would like to also know if you have your final words for today for the people watching, maybe your social, where they can find you.
Where they can find us. First of all, I didn't know. It's such an honor to be the first guest on your podcast. So now I can't wait to go back and watch and see what sort of content you guys are putting out, because I certainly had fun today. But thank you guys for watching. My name is Portia, one more time, and this is Charles. And together we're ST OSHUN. And we can be found on all platforms with the same name, ST OSHUN, Saint OSHUN. That's all you got to look up. It's TikTok, YouTube. Let me see. We got TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. ST OSHUN. And Spotify.
Okay.
And Apple. And all the major platforms that streams.
Right. Congratulations, guys.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys. I'm looking forward to following y'all's journeys.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Do you also post regularly on Facebook?
We do. We're on there regularly.
Okay.
It's the same handle, ST OSHUN.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe we should connect there as well. Right?
Yes. A lot of the community is really on Instagram and YouTube, but we are on Facebook.
Yeah.
There's a few people that are chiming in and that we connect with there as well.
No, nice to know. So you guys go ahead, follow them. They're on Facebook, YouTube,
Instagram, all of it.
Oh, I'm freezing. I don't know what's wrong with my.
I know.
So
I do
Jacqueline West. They are two beautiful, very humble. I will check out your. Thank you. Please do. And then comment, Jacqueline, so that I can stay. What do they call it? Stay in touch. SIT.
Yes.
And I'll know who you are, and I'm like, oh, there she is.
Yeah, it's always nice.
Yeah, it's always nice to know who's. Just to make the connection.
Oh yeah.
True. Thank you once again. So I'm going to bring it to an end. I have the link to your latest video in the description box down below. So you guys, if you want to watch them, if you want to watch Nikki, you want to listen to them, go ahead and click on that link. Follow them on Facebook, everywhere actually. Subscribe to their YouTube channel.
Oh Lord.
If you watch this video again and you notice that I was nervous at the beginning of the video, then you know the reason why I wasn't myself. I was like, oh my God, this is not going as planned, but hopefully next editions will be better.
Yeah.
Thank you once again. We're going to stay connected on Facebook. Thank you so much, Ida, for being here.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
Have a great time.
And we would
have a good night. Love you, sis.
Yes, and we would love to on the show again if it comes back around.
Yes, we
Definitely.
would love to
Yeah,
have you
definitely.
again. Definitely. We'd
All right,
love to.
ladies.
Thank you.
Sleep blessing and
Thank
have a good rest of the night.
Bless. Thank you. Thank you guys so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Just stop cam.
Okay. I'm going to wait. Okay, that went well. Let me see if they... Oh, wait, I have admin here. Let me see if I can take off admin. No, I cannot. Okay, so Karen, I would still like to thank you so much for that support from you. Thank you, guys. So keep in mind, oh, I was able to do that. Awesome. Keep in mind that we are going to be back here again next Wednesday. I'm going to announce the exact time we have another guest here on that show. Frida is going to be here as well. And of course, we are going to bring back ST OSHUN. ST OSHUN. I like the name. Oshun, just in case you guys do not know, I believe it has to do with the goddess of love and fertility. It's a Nigerian goddess. I'm not very sure, but I'm suspecting that the name is from there. So thank you once again. Have a blessed evening. Follow this page, subscribe to this channel. I remain blessing, enjoy the analyst, and I will catch you all on my next one. Bye. So I'm going to end it here. Bye, guys.